bodacious salutations to all you internet dwellers out there, and welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I am joined with the boys, as always. Keelan, what is up? Happy whatever day it is.
Oh, happy whatever day indeed. See, that was a manual mute. Manual mute.
Keelan's over there soldering a bunch of wires together to get his audio running.
Hey man, it's the only way I'm gonna turn into a real life Tony Stark is I have to start from scratch and make all this stuff on my own.
There you go.
But it's definitely a great whatever day for me. I'm not exactly sure why. Hasn't been a great whatever week. It's been a good whatever week, but it's been a great whatever day. So yeah. How about you, Mike?
I'm just wondering why we couldn't fit in a cowabunga into that salutations.
Come on. Cowabunga was going to be my opening for my first impressions.
Sorry. There you go. It was going to be said at least once, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's going to be said more than once.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah, how are you? How are you, Mike? How is it going?
I don't know. That's a deep question. Do you want to get into all of it? Do you want me to start to lay out the life story?
Yeah, we're not reviewing a movie tonight. We're just going to talk about our feelings.
That's not the plan?
Yeah. We can make it the plan.
Yeah, doing all right. How you doing over there, Nick?
Great, guys. Doing pretty good. Weekend's chugging along, so I can't complain. It is Wednesday, I believe. So we hope you guys out there are having a great day, or whenever you're listening to this, we hope it's a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight. We're going to have a little bit of a throwback review, some member berries for you 90s kids out there. Tonight we are going to be reviewing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990, the first live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. And in my personal opinion, the best. But let me not get too far ahead of myself. I want to give some credits here for the movie because the director here is Steve Barron, and the writers were Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Bobby Herbeck. And it stars Judith Hogue, Elias Koteas, and Josh Pais. And yeah, this actually was it was released in 1990, and until I believe, what movie was it? Until the Blair Witch Project, it was the highest grossing indie movie of all time.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was quite a cult phenomenon back in 1990, and I had heard somebody on a podcast mentioning it offhand, and I thought to myself, it's been so long since I watched that movie, and it was like a staple in my rotation as a kid, so I needed to revisit it with adult eyes, and so that's what we're going to talk about tonight, guys. Without much further ado, I'm going to cede the floor to the gentleman here to give our first impressions. Whichever of you would like to go first?
Cowabunga.
There you go.
All right, that was half-hearted and spiteful. I apologize. Cowabunga is the way I'm going to start. I want to give my first.
I was like an Excelsior. I wasn't like a cowabunga.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to sing it? You want me to cowabunga?
There you go. Yeah. There it is. Now I can feel energy in the room.
You got to have that California accent, even though you're in New York.
as only the Splinter had. My first impressions of this movie is, man, yes. I remembered it for exactly what I saw it for as an adult. Understanding it thematically, of course, much more at this age. I was probably around 4 or 5 when I saw it, but it came out when I was 2. So yeah, seeing it at this age, actually being able to put a perspective to what I was seeing, I was satisfied. I also want to note this is definitely titled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Original Movie.
Yes, it is.
That is literally the title, the original movie. And I appreciated that in hindsight, not realizing they had done that. But by them doing that, I think that alone, the name stands the test of time. You can make a million renditions, but it's never going to be the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the suits weren't terrible.
No, they
The
weren't.
suits weren't terrible for 1990, which means this was probably shot in 88, 89, because back then it really took you 2-3 years to shoot a movie.
Good old Jim Henson, man.
You know, yeah, I didn't even look in to see who did the costume work, so that's
Jim
actually
Henson.
impressive to know.
Yep.
Also,
the guy that did the Muppets, right?
Yep. Jim Henson Studios. His son, I want to say, is running. I don't know if he's running that now. I want to say his son went.
He has like an adult version of it.
Yeah. I was trying to find the right way to put that. That's exactly how you explain it, because it's not quite. It's not quite pornography, but it's not suitable for regular TV. It's
the Happy
like
Time Murders
stuff. Yeah,
the Happy Time Murders. We reviewed it on the show.
We did indeed. So yeah, notable people from the cast. Of course, it's an older movie, so I was just looking for names that people would possibly recognize today. Sam Rockwell was in this movie.
Yeah, very young Sam Rockwell.
Very young Sam Rockwell. But you really didn't see him until like the end, or realize or recognize him until the end. But he's in the movie. And Corey Feldman was the voice of Donatello.
I did not know that. Nice.
So those were two names that I was like, I wonder who's in this movie that people would recognize that name in 2022. Those two names right there jumped out. And realizing like, wow, that Sam Rockwell goes from that to the guy we know today. That's a career for you. I'll stop there with first impressions. The movie was, I was happy. I was satisfied. I was happy.
All right, cool. Mike, what were your first impressions?
Well, I remember seeing this movie in the theater when it first came out. I'm an old man now, you know. So I must have been maybe about 32, 33 when I saw it in theaters.
1904.
Yeah.
I wasn't even born when this movie came out. But I don't think I saw this as a kid growing up, or if I did, like I remember snippets of it, watching it now, but I don't think I watched it all the way through as a kid. So for me, it was just fresh, and it's great. It's fun. It's like a lighthearted movie. Like the bonding between the brothers. It reminded me of like the Boondock Saints, just a little bit more family friendly. But all the little idiosyncrasies are cool. They had some great camera moves. The music was very fitting for all the parts, and it's a fun movie that holds that escapism where you can forget about everything for a while, you know. And definitely on like the rewatch list for sure.
Sweet.
I also want to comment on the background music. The cinematography was amazing. The art was amazing. I want to throw this out there early. April draws a sketch or some sketches later in the movie, and I wonder if those were a part of the original concept art, because they are just
maybe.
If they're not, those are some amazing prop, set props. Art pieces.
Yeah, it's just probably some grip that knew how to draw. I was like, yeah, I can put that. Yeah, I could do that for you real quick.
Like for sure. But if it's not a part of the original art, if it is a part of the original art, it makes sense. But the back, like you just said, Mike, the background music, the music in general through the movie, it was for 1990. You know what hip hop was like, really, realistically 4 years old or something like that. But the music sound like all of the popular stuff going on in the background, but when you listen close enough, you was like, "Oh, this is some generic stuff."
Yeah,
but
turtle specific stuff.
You know what I mean?
Like the end credits rap song. I swear that was the Humpty Hump, man. It sounded just like that.
I meant to look and see who made that, because I was like, "Who is this?" Because he has a flow, but what are you rapping about turtles, dude?
He's rapping about turtles.
Yeah. And that's what made me realize how like the age of hip hop at that time, like this was still kind of the beginning of the surge of it all. Will Smith was the best rapper in the world at the time, so
yeah, Sugar Hill Gang.
You know? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right, they were old men by that point. In fact,
right.
So yeah.
So again, this is one of my rotations back when I was 5 years old. I would watch this probably ad nauseum. One of my favorite flicks as a kid. I was always afraid of the Shredder, though. Felt like he was a little bit too scary for kids. And that's one of the things I actually really enjoy about this movie is it's actually really dark. It kind of, it's a little bit noir-esque. I like that New York is a really nasty, dingy New York. Like, it's not pretty. There's trash everywhere. It's always raining and wet.
Honest.
You know, Raphael walking around in a trench coat and a fedora is awesome. But yeah, I mean, like, I really enjoyed this movie. I was pleasantly surprised. Again, I remember it as a child, haven't seen it as an adult, and I don't know, it's got to be at least 20 years. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. It's concise. It's only an hour and 30 minutes long, and it's a good little story. And it's got a lot of really sort of more mature elements in that you see after this movie, the subsequent movies dial back immensely, because the feedback for this movie was that it was way too dark, and parents didn't like it. And so, yeah,
1990, Disney was dominating. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I think Bambi was probably one of the top movies still around then.
Have you?
I believe.
Did you ever check out like some of the old original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics?
Yeah, the comics, like the black and whites. Yeah,
those are dark. They're like very
they are.
noir-esque.
Yeah, and very violent too.
Yeah,
in the most pleasurable ways. Also, Nick, with you mentioning the Shredder, that did remind me something I noticed. Man, it's like everything was larger when you were a kid, because Shredder, he was so much larger in size and scale.
Yeah, when you think about it.
Yeah. But you see him now as an adult, and it's like,
he's just some thin dude with shoulder pads on.
It just, you know, that shot when you see his profile walking from that lower tilted angle was hilarious. I just started laughing.
Right, but as a kid, I could imagine our imagination took over in that moment.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I said the same thing. Like, I'm like, that was some good camera work, but I ain't fooled.
Well, let's hit the ground running with this one. So I think the intro is actually pretty damn good. I kind of like the way that it's narrated through April O'Neil telling you about the surge in crime, and then you see this sort of wallet pass off. I don't know why they need so many hands to pass one wallet off, but it was very intricate. It was
operation. All right?
Got to make sure everybody feel important.
Yeah.
Was that the Shredder's hand at the end? Like he's out on the street and he just
the Shredder just walking up, snatching up his get this
just
loot.
Taking people's wallets off the street.
$5 P.
Yeah. I swear, dude. Shredder was Jeff Bezos. He was trying to create his own Amazon store, and
That's how he started it.
Yeah, man. Nobody was giving him credit. He had that warehouse. He had all those kids unpacking shit.
I see it in my head. I know exactly what you're putting up. I see what you're putting down there. And he probably was bald under that helmet.
Who's bald?
I see. Probably was bald under that helmet.
Oh, no. I think you're thinking of the Uncle Phil version from the cartoons. This guy is a guy where, he's a Japanese dude with hair.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I didn't know if he had hair or not because we didn't get to see it. So I was just...
He's still a very vain dude if he has to have that mask on because a rat scratched him.
Yes.
That's a very big scratch for a rat.
Yeah,
it is.
That was a big scratch and it didn't heal properly. He didn't get no kind of ointment or treatment to it. That skin was still hanging over.
Nah, man, he just sliced the rat's ear off and left.
Right? Like you taught the rat a lesson.
That's how you do it.
Why did you leave him alive?
Right.
What are you doing here?
Well, to be fair, I don't think that he thought he was going to go to New York City and then end up in radioactive material and grow.
But he wasn't shocked that happened either. It was like, oh well, let me finish the job.
Or that he learned ninjutsu from his owner by looking at him in the cave. Those are all those.
I could see rats being that smart. I could also see a rat or a mouse even, but a rat specifically not staying in a metal cage because they can chew through metal.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Those little clips of the rat learning how to fight. Were the best.
Cool.
That's so cute. The stupid little puppet.
It moved so hard that it would sway. That was awesome. But no, the narration was great. What I thought was interesting, and I kept note of it because I knew it was only going to happen once. They called it the silent crime wave.
Mhm.
They never once again mentioned a silent crime anything.
No, because by that time they caught on to the Foot Clan. You know, everybody knew it was the Foot Clan.
Who I wanted them to make Putty Patrol noises so bad. I just wanted somebody to.
They do look like putties.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so we get the intro scene to the Turtles, which obviously the theme music is pretty slapping. I enjoyed that theme music a lot. I just thought that was great. I also like the little musical flourishes every time one of the turtles like pops up. That do 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 do.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of
Very
cool.
well done.
Yeah.
They made sure that every entrance, exit, change of scene, everything was thematic. Everything kept you interested, even down to when Shredder was introduced. And I don't remember his henchman's name, but when he would go, when he came to him, what happened?
I said that's a good question. I forgot what his name is.
I thought you called him like Doctor something.
I was gonna say
his name was like Tatsu. I think his name was Tatsu, actually.
It was Tatsu. You're right.
Yeah. Oh wow, look at that. I was thinking, I was worried I was thinking of a Street Fighter movie or something.
It's funny because when they said Tatsu, I was like, isn't that a roller coaster ride? Anyway, and that is a roller coaster, yeah, Tatsu. But when Tatsu is revealing Shredder, when he comes in, as soon as he steps down, he's showing his shoulder blades. And as he's removing the cloth, you hear
yeah.
And then you see the metal.
Yeah.
And I thought that was clever because this is 1990. They didn't have the luxury or the laziness, you can call it, some people would call it, in fact, of today, where you're going to rely on just the post-prod sounds to get the point across. Like, no, they had to have the right movement, the right angle of the camera. It had to be the perfect shine of the metal. Where's the light? It has to gleam in a certain way. And because of that, I think that's why nostalgically in our minds, Shredder was so much more overstanding when we were children, because all of these grandiose things were done as soon as he entered. You have a sound for the motion of his shoulder blade. Like, what? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, Hollywood has a rule. It's whenever a sharp object is in the frame, a shink must also be heard. So,
I believe
you always have to hear that little ting. Always.
I really believe that might be written somewhere, because I could actually see that happen. That happens in comedies.
Wait, does Shredder ever use his like claw blades?
Just to threaten. He only uses it to threaten.
I think
but he uses a stick.
Yes.
A little bit of foreshadowing here. I think in the second one he uses them to stab Splinter, in fact.
Well, in the second one, yes, it goes way off the rails because they retcon Shredder back. Because this was only supposed to be a one-off movie. Like it was supposed to be this, and that was it. Okay. Obviously, it made so much money. They were like, we need to make this into a trilogy. And so they had to bring the Shredder back.
The Turtles to Hollywood, see?
Mm-hmm.
Let them stay in New York.
And that's where you get Vanilla Ice. And that's where you get Vanilla Ice and Turtles, too.
Oh, God. Let's not talk about it. But you can tell that the filmmakers really cared.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone on this project cared about making this movie what it is, and it does like stand the test of time.
I agree. Yeah, the suits still look great. Honestly, like it didn't break my immersion whatsoever. And Splinter looked great. Like I know he's a puppet, but I don't. That's fine.
How about great. The fighting looked? I'm not going to say great. It looked good, though.
It looked better than some of the fighting I've seen in modern stuff. That's what I'm gonna say.
Exactly. And I'm not even saying that as a slight. It's just when you look at you're thinking these are guys in suits. These are easily the average fight in this movie. Big rubber suits. The average fight in this movie was no less than 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
So the choreography had to be perfect. Even if it was terrible, the timing of everything had to be done well. And again, this is the 1990s. I highly doubt you're getting or you're allowed to venture into shooting the same thing 10 and 12 times that day. You got probably like 2 shots.
Yeah. So, I mean, especially for the stunt people who have to do flips in those suits and stuff. Exactly. Good Lord.
Exactly. Like, and that's their 80% of the movie.
You're like skating in those suits would be hard. Those
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the skateboarders were, and that was a smaller skateboard too. It wasn't a regular deck.
There are a few shocks though that are supposed to be dramatic between the turtles, where you do lose a little bit of that because they just didn't have the tech at the time to move all the muscles in the face.
Yeah.
So there's a few times like, oh, that's okay though. There's still like the heart of this movie is so big and good that you just like look over that stuff. You look past it.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of earnesty in this movie, which I like. Because they were trying to tell a pretty concise story, and I think they did. Like, I think it's pretty heartfelt. It's all about family. It's all about I mean, like, when I was a kid, I didn't get the overtones of like what Raphael was versus the unit as the turtles, and like the sort of metaphor that alone they're weaker, but together they're stronger. Which I caught on the this time around, which is it's a nice little theme.
And I think that's a normal theme when it comes to family and especially martial arts movies.
Mm-hmm. So, and they follow. Raphael is pretty much our main character.
Yeah,
they follow him more than any of the other ones.
Yeah, and I think he's considered the oldest.
And I love that he's like an Italian from the Bronx, and the rest of them have Californian accents.
Cool, bruh.
And then he's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yes, a really rough,
very New York accent.
There's what was the first words out of the turtle's mouth, or one of them was pizza.
Pizza.
Those hilarious and adorable at the same time.
And it's the charm of the puppeteering too. I mean, like, we really need to. I mean, Jim Henson was incredible with that type of stuff, and I don't think that it would be anywhere near as endearing if Henson wasn't at the wheel for this. Like, he just he knows how to create puppets that you care about. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I don't think that you would care as much.
Is that the Critters connection? Because I've been trying to figure that out since it's like Raphael walks out of the movie and he saw Critters.
He said it was terrible.
Yeah,
he said it was terrible.
Terrible. Yes. But I don't know if the connection is the puppet company or maybe the person who did. I don't know if there is any connection, but I thought it was there had to be.
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. That might be a deep cut, but I could see where it might have been like maybe Jim Henson had a part in that as well, and they're just taking little funny jabs.
Could have been one of the first things he worked on.
Yeah, and so the whole theme of the story is kind of Raphael being the sort of independent one and getting himself into trouble. I absolutely love that the main rule is stay out of sight, but Raphael can put a hat and a trench coat on and just walk New York City.
He has that angry, don't leave me the hell alone look.
Yeah.
Yo, don't talk to me, man.
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
Or even when he like rolls over the taxi chasing Casey, the guy in the back seat just like, what was that? And he's like, it looks like a turtle in a trench coat. You're going to the airport? What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah. Nobody in New York cares, man.
Yep, exactly.
Can't pull that off in LA.
No, you can't. I also enjoyed Elias Kotia, or what is his name? Elias Koteas. Casey Jones, man. I like that character. I didn't really think about him a lot as a kid, but I enjoyed the interchange that he had with Raphael when they first met each other. That was really funny.
I thought that I liked his character overall. I think Casey Jones brings the turtle story and the Shredder story together in reality. Other than that, the Turtles and Shredder have no other connection other than Splinter, and that's not good enough. You have to have something to link that in between. And Casey Jones was already fighting the Foot Patrol, or the Foot Clan, sorry. the Foot, just on a street level.
Right, yeah.
It's him and Danny. The old Danny boy.
Oh, yeah.
Danny boy, yeah.
Hey, it's just Dan now.
I love that.
He's grown up.
He's all grown up.
Kids. See? Teenage. And also, that's the thing when you realize, whoa, this is a teenage movie, but it doesn't feel like you're forced to watch some kiddie stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a big difference between something like this and then something like we watch on Disney Plus. Like even some of the Marvel stuff now is swinging way too towards children that I'm like, yeah, all right.
Like Miss Marvel, that's actually going to be a high school movie or junior high school.
Well, yeah, that stuff I understand. If the characters are children, then I assume it's for children. But
Fair enough.
like a lot of the Marvel characters aren't children. But yeah, so I really kind of appreciated that because this movie is technically a kids movie, but I mean there was a joke Casey Jones made that was definitely not a kid's joke, and it's when they go back down into the lair and they're talking about sleeping over, and Casey Jones like, I'm not sleeping down here, and Donatella's like, you're claustrophobic, and he's like, what, you want me to punch you in the mouth? I've never even looked at a guy.
Like,
yeah, there's some of those things. Yeah. There's the back massage scene too.
Yeah,
where the turtles come in and
turtle wax.
Yeah, the turtle wax.
Right, the turtle wax. That was hilarious. Like, you need some ointment? Nah.
Funny, Mikey. Carry on.
But
that Danny boy subplot was I feel like if you're a teenager, you're supposed to identify with him most, and especially if you're thinking about or like you just don't like your family. Which teenager likes their family?
Right.
That whole thing of running away and kind of finding this cool layer with all these arcade games, and somehow somebody built a half pipe in that thing with a crazy like
everybody's smoking cigarettes and drinking Pepsis.
Cigar. Yeah, that one kid shooting pool with a whole cigar.
And in the back, there's a fight club where you can learn martial arts. So like all these misfits and like punkers, like that kind of vibe, but how that can't substitute a real family.
Right. Yeah. All of the fun things still have an element of danger that you don't know about. It's a whole Pinocchio Pleasure Island thing, right? It's like
family is about helping you and teaching you lessons about what you need to know. It's not all about fun. Sometimes you ain't gonna like your family. Get over yourself.
That's fair. Yeah.
But you better love them.
Well,
or else.
Good.
Now, for the record, anybody who don't know, I'm supposed to be that little baby meme.
Oh, another great memeable point of this movie is I have a message to deliver you. Smack.
It's funny. Okay, look. He goes, I have a message to deliver you. Puts his hand on your face, and I was like, he's about to smack the. Ooh. And then I thought to myself, wait. And back then, this was normal in movies. So it was like a chick a lady got smacked in every movie probably until about 1997.
Probably, yeah. You're right.
It's just I don't know why, but it happened. It's part of history. Live it. But that was. Did he have to take her back to the lair though? That's the question. That's probably the only real question I have about the entire movie. Did he have to take her back to the lair?
I assume that he did because the foot was still there. Probably shouldn't have, because granted, this is like their third day of being vigilantes.
Right.
Like the first fight they get into to save April O'Neil is their first time being vigilantes. So It's like they don't really have a whole lot of experience in this. So yeah, I can kind of understand. I can understand that they would make some mistakes.
You can't exactly also drop her off at the hospital.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
He didn't know where she lived. He didn't want to ransack her stuff. All right, fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
He's green. It's not like, can't just be out here running the streets.
Right.
Just throw in her taxi and close the door.
Yeah, we could do that too. Yeah.
Hey, taxi! Drop this broad off. What the yeah. Overall, great movie. It was so 15 years. That part was interesting to me because at no point through any of the Turtle movies I remember do we get like a epilogue movie where they're trying to tell the 13-year story or the 15-year story, excuse me.
Oh, like them growing up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess because everybody wants to see them be ninjas anyways.
Right.
So.
Would it be just too bad to watch them grow up and get their butt kicked a couple of times by Splinter around? Never mind. I get it.
I think you get a little bit more. I think you get a little bit more of the lore in the second one, The Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they talk a little bit more about like what the radioactive material is. I think it's called InGen or something like that. One of the company that creates it.
Wait, is it InGen? That sounds like
Jurassic Park. Yeah, it might not be InGen then. It's something else, but it sounds like that. It's like one of those, Hollywood corporation names.
Yeah.
Like,
Corpotech. Globo Gym.
Globo Gym.
It's them again.
Yep.
They're back.
But I can see like a weird Rugrats-esque cartoon for kids, but just with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles growing up, exploring the sewers.
Yeah, I just realized that might get kind of
baby mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right, they have to shed their skin and find new shells eventually.
Baby mutant Ninja Turtles. That might work. You could do it. They did Muppet Babies for a while, so
Muppet Babies, Tiny Toons.
That's all true. That. Yeah, there was a whole phase of just doing things, but in the small version of them.
Put a diaper on it and call it a baby.
Yeah.
But yeah. The Ooze. I'm trying to find the company name.
Oh, yeah. I forget.
From Dimension X.
But I totally forgot that like Raphael gets his ass kicked.
Oh, he gets destroyed. But I mean, it's like 100 on 1.
I know. He was holding his own for a while though, and that fight scene was pretty. That fight scene was pretty decent. Whoever the stunt man is for these people, or the stunt men were for these people, did a really good job. Because like I could even tell that in the choreography, they were trying to consider how a turtle would fight.
Right.
A lot of rolling, a lot of like, side rolls, using the shell as a shield, stuff like that,
just a device to spin on, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Which I kind of like, because I saw in that fight with Raphael, like he was doing a couple things where he was utilizing the shell as a fighting and then using it to slide somewhere or roll over somebody.
Bouncing off the walls.
Right.
Slow, super slow. Wasn't no high speed stuff going on.
No. And I do like that cartoon that Michelangelo is watching. It's the tortoise and the hare, and he's just yelling at the tortoise. He's like, run, come on, go faster. What are you doing? Ninja kick that rabbit.
Yeah. So the company was Techno Global Research Institute.
Oh, that's right. It was a TGRI. Yep. TGRI. Yeah.
Techno. Didn't we say something? Yeah, we said something relative to techno.
I said Technocore.
Yeah, Technocore. He said Global Gym. You guys were close.
Yeah, Techno Global Research Institute.
That was pulling from the sky, but y'all almost had that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
But no, the fight sequences were fun. I just felt bad as an adult. I felt bad for those actors, whoever's in those suits, because it got hot in there.
Miserable. Yeah.
You don't feel bad for the guys in the Black Putty Patrol with the red headband on, who had to hit the ground, get up, but not stand all the way up, and somehow spin their way to the back as if they were still falling.
Yeah. It's always fun. It's always fun to watch some of the background characters. That's for sure.
Stunt, but that's why I had to give the stunt work alone just commendation, because of the scenes where it was multiple turtles fighting. You would have. There's no back, because right behind you have two more groups of people fighting.
Yeah.
And you have to get behind this object somehow to be off.
And to be fair, I didn't notice any inconsistencies in those backgrounds. Like if you see like some one of the turtles fighting in the background, they're actually fighting in the background. Yeah. They're not just like pretending to do stuff.
Right. That's why I'm like, you have to watch the other guys, because watching the turtles, you're not going to see too much slipping. But you watch the little people, like the guys that they hit, and then they had to spin before the camera changes. Like, all right, before the camera change, you go see something, or when that camera change, you might catch something. Which also tells me the editing was really good too.
And to Mike's point, these aren't the fancy new superhero costumes that get pumped with cold water. Like That's how they do them now. Apparently, like they're so tight, they seal you in, and then they just put a straw in you and put cold water into your suit to keep you cool.
Yeah, you need something because
That's
I'm
weird.
sure on set it was not fun to do any of this, especially during like the fire sequence. Like,
Right,
any day where
right.
they shot with actual fire, that would have been like
sweltering, I'm sure.
I felt bad for the Foot Clan because they had tea strainers over their eyes
Yes.
for some reason. That's what I felt really bad for.
And so you can't poke their eyeballs out. It's very practical. They're very afraid of the, and you know, to be fair, Donatello does a lot of Three Stooges impressions, so you know.
You know, I think Mike's saying that the mesh was probably getting warm over their eyes.
It looked like it. They're very, very thin metal there.
One of them looked like they were starting to melt. Like during the group scene, it was like that he must have fell on his face.
Might have got a little dented. Yeah.
Couldn't pop it back out.
I
lost track.
Huh?
You lost track one?
I lost track of Raphael during that whole fight scene. I thought they forgot him.
Right. No, he was in April's lap.
April was holding him in her loving arms.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, did they just leave him there in the burning building to crawl out?
Yeah, to die.
Burning bush.
And you know, and then the movie kind of takes a little bit of like a pause. This would be when the heroes need to regather their energy and strength to go out and fight the bad guy again.
Right. Why was Raphael? Why did they put him in the tub upside down?
I don't know. That was pretty funny though.
He's a turtle.
He's a turtle. He's got to keep wet. That's all.
Yeah.
It's probably rotating him.
Mm-hmm.
April comes in, put one hand of water over him, like it.
Don't you know that you put a turtle on its back, it dies?
No.
Yeah.
Is that real?
It won't be able to get up. Yeah.
That doesn't explain anything from what I knew before, but that's new information.
And then when it's floating, it just can't stay stable. It's just gonna. They probably tried to put it on its back, and then the costume just didn't stay.
Yeah, no.
Like screw it, shoot the scene like this, be fine.
You think it would go flat every time?
I don't think it. I don't think. Yeah, I think it just would lose balance or buoyancy, or just sink, or just roll.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
I liked how they kind of featured the dispositions of the turtles in that farmhouse segment. You know, where you have Donatello. He's supposed to be this sort of like technical turtle. He's working on the truck with Casey Jones. Leonardo ever being like the loyal one, you know, watching over Raphael. They didn't do anything about Michelangelo. I guess he's just a bimbo, though.
Yeah,
Comedy relief.
Yes.
I might say he was writing his next joke. So yeah.
Anything else? What else? We got the final showdown once they get back.
I like how Shredder knew to be on the lookout for them from the description of their fighting style. Something about the way you describe the fighting reminds me of the reminds me of the past. What? You nostalgic.
Very specific karate or ninjutsu. Sorry,
you're gonna overlook the force power that.
Oh yes, sorry.
Splinter
the conjuring of Splinter. Yeah.
Over the bonfire.
Yes.
Oh yeah, nah, man. That's why Splinter was trying to get them to meditate. See, if you meditate, then you can elevate your mind and get to the next plateau. Turn the fire blue, and next thing you know, Splinter will be talking to you. Bars.
It do be like that.
Did any of you guys sit by the fire and try to conjure Splinter as children?
No, I should have, but no. Yeah.
Right. We could have all been crime fighters and lived in New York today. But then again, they might find out we there and aliens would attack. Never mind. I don't want to be an Avenger.
Yeah, I'm good.
I was thinking this kind of the banter back and forth does remind me a bit of like Marvel-esque humor. I wonder if this was any sort of inspiration for some of like at least the attitude.
Should be the inspiration for every hero movie, but you know, they heard it here first apparently.
Yeah, this is like this movie probably needs to make a resurgence in people's minds. That's why I wanted to bring it up. And going forward, we'll be labeling these throwback reviews just so you guys know that like these won't be the the latest movies, but they'll be movies that we recommend that you go back and watch. Or maybe recommend that you go back and hate watch if they're bad. So
you never know too what would inspire your favorite movie. You'd be surprised.
Absolutely.
I mean, some trash. And what's crazy is a lot of really bad movies have some really great elements that are used later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to take what works, and if you're a fan or if you're a student of the art, you take what works and throw away what doesn't work.
That's right.
Remember when pizzas took 30 minutes or less?
Yeah, I thought about that too. That was great. Stupid product placement of the 90s, dude. I was like thinking to myself, out of all the places in New York, you get Domino's? Come on.
Yeah.
That is the least New York thing I've ever heard of.
With that accent, I would have thought they was going to order from, Tony's or
Giamatti's or whatever.
Right.
What was that?
Down on Fourth.
Is it Demolition Man? I forget. Or Running Man, when we were only Taco Bell. Taco Bell won the fast food wars or something.
Yeah, I think it's Demolition or Repo Man.
One of those. No, I think that was Demolition Man because Repo Man is kind of more future-esque. Well, they're both future.
Yeah. But they both are, but yeah.
Repo Man is about harvesting organs versus chasing down criminals.
Yeah, and then in some movie there was Subway. Like for some reason they always that was the only restaurant in the whole. It took place in LA, but it's like there was only Subway. But it's because you had to get your money to make your movie somehow.
Yep.
And actually, by my description of how I just remembered the Repo Man is set up, it could be Repo Man actually because it wouldn't matter what you eat if you could get your organs just replaced like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So they return for their final fight, take on the foot soldiers. Anything notable about that? The fight between Tatsu and Casey Jones. Yeah, Casey Jones gets his ass kicked until he finds a golf club.
Right.
Because apparently he can't fight without a stick.
He's a hockey player.
Yeah.
Later.
He gets his stick, he gets his powers back.
It's weird. He does fight later, but they're just like the grunts.
Those are henchmen. Yeah, he's beating up kids.
Yeah, that's true. They're like 17-year-old kids.
He was a professional hockey player who broke his leg or whatever, and he's punching up 15, 16-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right, as you do. Like, this is gritty New York, man. Yeah, this is New York before the corporations came in.
You see how large those 15, 16-year-olds are.
Yeah, you had to be tough back then.
No GMOs.
Yeah, that's true too. I the shredder kind of went out like a bitch, but
man, listen, you telling me that rat was held in prison by you? You beat him up. He's broken. He is broken.
Very
and he's gonna climb the ladder, get up there, pose on you like he really flexed on him, like what's happening.
Yeah,
that's right. Oh yeah, I'm here now. Don't worry about it. You remember me? I did that to your face.
Yeah,
my face. Oh, I'm gonna come at you.
I'm gonna full charge you with my spear, and that'll just sidestep you and use my nunchucks.
I'm just like, bro,
were those nunchucks brought up before, or were those
nunchucks were stuck on the fire escape?
Okay, there we go. Thank you. Because I knew they had to have been a callback to something else because I forgot where they had came from.
When he first started and he had them throw their weapons over,
right?
The nunchucks got stuck on the top.
Got it.
But the theme with all of that is like he was telling Raphael in the beginning that if he doesn't conquer his anger, if he goes at it alone, or he doesn't conquer it, it will conquer him.
Mm-hmm.
Go forward at the end, and Shredder gets angry, and then I guess loses all his principles, and just runs straight at the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Straight up.
The most skilled fighter loses to the pet rat.
Yeah, you get the motif of like the open palm Zen master, right? Against the closed fist Zen master. There's always been that mythology. between the two techniques of sort of like soft martial arts and then hard martial arts.
Right. The yin and the yang.
Mm-hmm. Then Shredder gets murdered by Casey Jones, just blatantly murdered.
Oops.
Oops,
What?
bro? you just
And this was me again. I had to say 1990, I guess.
right. Yeah.
He's the bad guy.
He is the bad
Yeah,
guy.
exactly. He's a bad guy, so nobody cares. Kill him.
No remorse for the Shredder. But don't worry, folks. He'll be back in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. So just in case you guys were worried, Shredder miraculously comes back, and I don't even think that they explain it.
It's probably the ooze. He probably.
I think they probably
nuclear vat or something.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Shredder's body gets exposed to the ooze, and he comes back as Super Shredder.
Oh, and that's how he comes back as the Shredder we remember.
Well, yeah, the giant Shredder with like mega muscles. Yeah.
And I do enjoy that in this movie they are, and the whole movie, in fact, you kind of fill them out. They're filling each other out. They're filling themselves out. What's going to be our catchphrase? What are we going to say? Like they're ramping up for something.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, they're trying to pass it around. They're bouncing it around. And it's Shredder who goes, I've always liked. Sorry, Splinter, you're correct. Who goes, I've always liked Cowabunga. Huh?
They should have stuck with bitchin'.
Bitchin' was good. I like Raphael's, yeah. But
No,
yeah.
They all laugh. He's like, I made a
hellacious. Wasn't one of the words hellacious?
Nah, I don't know. Bodacious, probably.
Bodacious.
Yeah, Splinter saying I made a funny.
I made a funny.
Like, bro, do you know what a joke is? I don't think that's a joke at all. You just suggested a word.
But that's the thing that always sticks around. There's like somebody made a funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it was said before that, but seeing it in a movie, it's like, all right, it just comes from there. And now, since 1990, whenever someone says, oh, you made a funny, good job.
Mm-hmm. It's a Splinter reference. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it looks like the Shredder got Keelan, but oh no, there he is.
Oh no, I'm back. You know, he said Katsu after me. I'm better than that.
You had to use your ninjutsu on him.
That's right.
I thought he was just trying to figure out he was working on his Iron Man thing. So they're just
and I wasn't having no more issues. I wasn't, not this time at least. I'm checking on it though. I did notice when we referenced the different things and how it could be a callback to this movie in certain sayings. Yuck yuck.
Yeah. Three Stooges.
I didn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I was sitting here and I was like, "Whoa, did we get it from this?" And I was like, "No, we got that from the Three Stooges." And then, what's the big blue shark they used to say? Jabberjaw.
Mm-hmm.
Jabberjaw adopted it as well. And I'm just sitting here like, wow, like some things travel so far, but they connect things.
Yeah.
You know, and I liked Jabberjaw. I love the Turtles, and I like Three Stooges.
Yeah. And it works perfect for it was Raphael, right? Because he's the big entertainment junkie. He was
Donatello.
It was Donatello. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Donatello and Michelangelo. They're kind of the
guys.
Yeah, they're kind of the jokey jokers. Leonardo's very straight man, and
I think he's
Turtles
just overly
as in the cartoons. I think he kind of he's like the leader, right? I'm trying to remember, and it becomes like the more tech, techie, makes gadgets and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Ninja Stars and stuff because he starts tapping in.
There's a little Easter egg for you guys. When Casey Jones is in the kitchen of the farmhouse, he's using one of Leonardo's katanas to chop carrots, and it's because of the MPAA saying that Leonardo couldn't use the katanas to actually hurt people. So at the along the way, the director's like, well, we have to use them for something, and so they put that scene in with Casey Jones using them to cut carrots.
Wow,
that's and it makes sense. I was like, all right, that place might not have any knives, so I can see that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Why would your farmhouse not have knives?
Well, she said
hasn't
she
been-
hadn't been there in a long time. Yeah.
True. Okay. Yeah.
It was in the Grapes of Wrath. Come on, man.
Hey, listen. Never mind. I'm gonna let that go.
Yeah.
The
It was
grapevine.
and then the Avengers go there years later.
That's right. Yeah. And they bulldoze it. Remodel it.
Hawkeye's family bought it.
Yes, absolutely. He's a descendant of Casey Jones. That's
Oh shit.
yeah. We're building the lore together there. All right, you guys got anything else that you wanted to bring up?
I want my own dragon doji.
Oh yeah, the symbol.
I just want a house in the sewer. It was awesome.
It was awesome, but I just kept thinking about all that water they were walking through. April O'Neil was wearing like flats, and it's just shit water, dude.
Every day.
Oh god, so gross.
That is not water, sir.
Nope.
That's
That's why they said, "Oh, are we at 11 yet?" Nope, only at 9.
I don't understand why the only thing they're eating down there is pizza.
Yeah,
the only thing you can guarantee you can carry through there, it won't necessarily get wet because you can keep it in the box. And
that's true. That's true. Grocery runs would be tough.
The scene when they open it up and the pizza has mold on it. It was like,
Yeah.
And they do the like the soldier's burial.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. And most called for. I totally understood. That was a lot of fungus for 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah. It is in a dank sewer, so that probably
it's true. Also,
accelerates.
Danny, well, I guess Dan, he became Dan when he decided to live in the sewer for 2 nights.
Dad, call me Dan now.
Dan now, Dad. Oh, Dan. I like Dad's reaction. Oh, Dan. Get over here, man. Call you kid. I don't care what you want to be called.
Right. As I recall, you just got arrested, so I'm going to call you whatever the hell I want.
I'm gonna call you inmate. Never mind. Yeah, I didn't really understand that part of the ending. Like, so did they arrest the kids?
No, because they decided to give up the warehouse to the cops. Yeah, because Sam Rockwell was like, "We're gonna be good guys now."
Sure, Sam.
Unless they're arrest all those kids. Second, those kids. Did you look at those cops? Do they look like they could run those kids down?
No.
All those kids, they could have. And listen, I don't care. Even if I just walked up and I didn't do nothing wrong, I see that many cops pulling up and it's a bunch of people. I'm out. I need to go for a walk. My mama's calling.
Gotta get home.
You gotta get home. Street lights on.
All right. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Yeah, Mike. All right, let's get to our ratings here, fellas.
Wait, real quick, who's your favorite turtle?
Always a fan of Raphael when I was a kid. That's who I dressed up as a kid. I think I was a Ninja Turtle like 4 times as a kid for Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I think mine's was Raph too.
Everybody's was Raph. He was the coolest. I mean, Michelangelo was also cool though. So
yeah, I did like Donatello because he had the stick, but that was really because I liked his weapon.
Donatello is the bookworm, but you didn't get enough of his personality in most of the early stuff. So it's like Raph and Michelangelo had the most pronounced personalities back in the day.
That makes sense. How about you, Mike?
Mikey.
Yeah, he's a good character.
Always making light of everything, just not taking shit seriously.
Cracking jokes, cracking skulls. Yeah.
Right. Oh, it's a serious moment, huh?
There's Injustice, so you could play as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
Play as Mikey against Batman. Batman will tell him to take this seriously.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Good luck, Batman.
Not gonna happen. Nope. Okay, guys, ratings. Let's do this. I can go first. No, I have no problem with that. I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. I wasn't expecting a whole lot. Because again, it's 30 years old now, 33, 32 years old now. Yeah, so I thought it was great. It was concise. An hour and a half is great time for me. I think the story is pretty good. It balances the need to be kid friendly, but also a fun story and engaging for adults pretty well. I really enjoy the sort of gritty noir New York that they portray. And yeah, a lot of bright points in this movie that I was pleasantly surprised about, and I will probably watch this again sometime in the future. So when I get nostalgic, I'll bring this one back into the rotation. So all that said, I think I'm feeling a strong like 7.5 on this one. I think it's fun. Rewatchability is definitely up there for me. The turtles look amazing still. The practical effects are fantastic. The puppetry is fantastic. I think that it holds up after 30 years. So yeah, solid 7.5 for me.
I like it. I can go next on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed this movie. Cinematography, great. Acting, dialogue, script, plot point, storyline, all of it, great. The only questionable, again, probably is the fighting itself, but not the choreography for the fighting, and only the fighting itself. Because I wonder, could you have made more contact and just like made it look like you obliterated that dude just now? But that's just for fun purposes, right?
Mm-hmm.
For movie purposes, it was amazing. With that being said, I don't know if I can give this movie any more congratulatory comments. So my rating is also a 7.5. Honestly, I want it to be higher, but we have a criteria around here, and there were no real emotional points, so it can't really be too much higher. It can only be a 0.5 higher than what it is. So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Wow. See, for me, when
Solid.
like when Mikey was like crying, I teared up a little bit.
There you go.
I related to
Found
Just
it.
emotion.
Mikey. Yeah, I was like, oh, dude.
You made me feel for a turtle.
So I like turtles. All right.
Yeah.
I like turtles. That should just be my last, like, and just give it a score. I like
Mhm.
turtles. This movie has a lot of heart. It's a lot of fun. Some of like the limitations of the day does make some scenes fall flat or some shots fall flat. You can't really hold it against it. What I do hold against it more is sort of like the outdated references it makes. So it's kind of stuck on like the 1990 time. And this is the problem with having your movie be referential to real world things in general. It ends up dating your movie. And you can tell, or I mean, I can tell where I had to like either go to the memory bank to try to remember what they were actually referencing or just or joking about or just like, oh, I just didn't get it. But I'm sure it was funny at the time. Move on. I still enjoyed the fighting. It brought me in enough where I wasn't bored, where I was looking around in the background for, for those background flubs. That was just me, so I was already sucked in. I had that emotional moment. For me, it's like a 9. It's up there.
Nice. Yeah. I think it's respectable. It's a sleeper. I mean, it's not a sleeper. It was wildly successful when it came out, but I think that this is definitely one that's going to get a lot more attention for people looking back, especially since the Turtles have been around for more than 30 years now. So there might be some young folks who haven't actually seen this movie and seen, maybe Michael Bay's movies. If you want to see where it all sort of came from. And I would argue probably the closest to the original comics you were going to get in the first place while still being a kid's movie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So can I add one more thing? Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, just that it was the perfect amount of grit for, like, I would show my kids this movie at, like, if I'm being conservative, like as young as 10. So being like, so this is something that I watched because there's a little bit of scariness in it with Shredder. There's a little bit of edge in it, and that probably might be a little bit too conservative being 10 with the internet, but still, there's still like that bit of edginess that makes it cool for kids, and a little bit of fear, and then there's that moral of like what you like, even though your family can suck, you don't go out chasing it because you probably are going to end up being used by the streets, being introduced to a gang, which happens to dear old Danny boy. So it has like a good moral to it about family and stuff. So
Sure does, yeah. And and a sort of commentary about what was going on a lot back in the early '90s with just the rise in gangs and all that type of stuff too. So, yeah, I think this movie is a nice little time capsule. If you want to see what New York kind of looked like back in the '90s, it wasn't that grungy, but like it was pretty grungy. Bags of trash on the street are still a very regular occurrence. So. Nice little shot of the Twin Towers as well at the beginning of the movie. So yeah, it's a kind of a cool time capsule to look at what was the stuff going on in 1990. So I think that's pretty cool.
Wait, are jobs now just the Foot Clan? Because they always talk about family. Like, come join our family.
Yes, absolutely. They were early on the corporate model. I'm telling you.
Yeah, the Foot Clan is the corporate model.
You don't know what really happens before you come upstairs. When you walk into the warehouse, you hear, "Here at the Foot, we are here for you."
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to watch that intro video. Like the training videos that you have to go before you go down to the room.
Everything begins at the foot and works its way up.
Well, my 7.5, Keelan 7.5, and Mike's 9 brings us a 24 out of 30, which is an 8 out of 10, which is decent score. I think that it's a great one, you guys. If you're still with us, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate all of you out there. It means so much to us when you tune in and give us your feedback. So thank you. And we hope that you enjoyed this episode. Go watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's still on Netflix until the end of this month. You can watch it for free right now. Make sure you watch the 90s version first. And then you can go watch the sequels to it. But you guys have anything else before we wrap this up?
It was a great episode. Great movie. Can't wait to see what we do Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a fun one. You guys stay tuned for Sunday at 8:30 p.m. We will be back with another review for you guys. Thank you again. We really appreciate it. So please consider giving us a thumbs up and a subscription to our YouTube page. It would really help us out. We're trying to expand that audience over on YouTube at Screen Time Continuum. We can't do it without your help. So if you don't mind, thumbs up, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and maybe share it if you feel so inclined. No pressure, though. No pressure. We just appreciate you tuning in for us. Thank you. We're a part of a network of podcasts that you can find currently on Facebook at Thinkering Talks. Keelan has a podcast on Tuesday nights that he does. It's called If Numbers Could Talk, and it's on 8:30 p.m. He has a channel on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. Go check him out if Numbers Could Talk. This show is Wednesdays and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. So be sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube. Then we have Dijon the Mustard, co-host for this podcast. He has a Twitch channel called Strawberries and Coffee. Be sure to go check him out Tuesday night and Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Strawberries and Coffee. He also has a YouTube channel where you can catch all of his streams from the back catalog. So if you miss a day, go check him out on YouTube, Strawberries and Coffee. Keelan also has another podcast Saturday morning. Sorry. I have a podcast on Friday night. It's called Exofathom. Me and Mike do that one Friday nights at 8 p.m. So be sure to check us out at Exofathom on Facebook and on YouTube. We're also on Verbal, Rumble, and Odyssey. You can check us out, Exofathom. Keelan has a podcast with his wife, Bobby, Saturday mornings between 10 a.m. and noon. You could check them out. It's called This Married Moment, right?
Yes, indeed.
You guys just came out with an episode too, right?
Yes, we did. We shot a Monday episode for this week. But we'll be right back on Saturday for sure. Already ready for it.
Sweet. So be sure to check out This Married Moment on Facebook and on YouTube. Give them a thumbs up. They also have on Anchor, so you can check them out if you want to get, other podcasts or audio platforms. Anchor, you can check that out as well at This Married Moment. I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me blabber on about all the plugs that I have to give you at the end of the show, and for listening to us blabber on about movies and TV and critique things for which we have no credentials. Thank you for taking this trip through the Screen Time Continuum with us. For Screen Time Continuum, I am Nick.
I am Keelan.
And I'm Headphones.
Good night.
Hey, do you remember that show Dinosaurs?
I
Yes.
love that show.
Don't the costumes in
Not
this
the
look like
mama.
the costumes from Dinosaurs?
Yes, they do.
We
Yeah,
should watch Dinosaurs.
That is the
I
long
like
series.
Cowabunga.